Welcome to A Look Inside. I'm your host, Demetria Hatt, and today we have a special guest, singer and songwriter, and a member of the Brides of Funkenstein, Amuka Kelly.
Hi, Demetria.
Welcome to the show. Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple of things, your latest projects, but first I want to know, since you've had a diverse career from your time with the Brides of Funkenstein to your solo work, how would you describe your sound today?
Ooh, wow. Um, well, that's interesting because I grew up on rock and roll. I lived in Syracuse, New York, and there was no R&B station. It was rock and roll. It was like top 40 and there was no R&B. So I I think I'm a mixture of course I love dance because I was
Mm,
introduced to dance and it just happened when I did the song Appreciate Me. It just blew up. And I just love the energy in dance. And then
mhm.
dance, and then I love R&B too. And I love rock and roll. That's my heart and soul. So I think I'm a merge of all of I'm a merge of all of those. Rock,
Mhm.
R&B. Because when I did the Bougie song, I didn't want to do it. I told him I don't do R&B. That's what I said to DJ Industrial Badger, my friend Brad Henry. He was like, "Oh, Sheila." So he imitated my husband, uh, Gregory. He said, "Oh, Sheila, come on, Sheila," and it was so funny, he because Greg wasn't there. So I went in and I did it, and I told him, I said, "You know what's going to happen? Like, the song's going to blow up, and we're going to talk about
Mhm.
how I didn't want to do it. And it's going to be, and that's exactly what's happened. It's, yeah, I'll do it all. Any good music is what I love. So my sound is, you know what? I last time I told somebody that people compare me to Tina Turner, it was for
Mhm.
a paper in Staten Island, and the guy was like, "I have the nerve to say Tina Turner's name in the same sentence as mine." He was looking for some. He was a hot dog, and I didn't say anything like that, but people do every time. I hear it all the time. Like, it reminds me of Tina. You remind me of Tina, and I'm not trying.
Uh-huh.
It's my rock. It's my rock influence
Mhm.
that comes out. So when I did Never
Yeah.
by Texas, I'm a Cowboy, that's what George Clinton really loved. He heard that Robert Plant thing and he just pushed it to the end. I'm
Mhm.
serious. So yeah, I'm a I guess a merge of
Okay.
everything.
Yeah, and honestly, when I heard your because I went through a lot of your songs, and you do have that Tina Turner uh
Or whatever it is.
vocal, those strong Tina Turner rock and roll
Yeah,
vocals.
that would be my roots. Rock and roll.
Mhm.
It's yes,
Okay.
it's love.
Okay, well, let's talk about Craving, one of your tracks that you signed with Ultra Records. So, can you tell us about the inspiration behind that song and what it represents for you as an artist?
Well, I was in Italy at the time. I was in Rome, the Roma, and I was being produced by a Roman producer and a label. Uh, I was craving all those things because I was in Rome. I didn't speak Italian, so it was really bizarre. If you can imagine being in a town that big and you can't understand or speak a word to anyone, it is
Mhm.
pretty daunting or whatever. I don't know. It was scary. So when I said craving was like I was craving all the love and the things that I love and I wanted and that I'm missing that I didn't have. Now, so that song was derived from a real craving,
Mhm.
and I was just playing it for Greg the other day and yesterday, as a matter of fact, and that part I really want to ride on a bike with a seat that fits. People always ask me about those words. I have no idea. It just came out, and I thought it was, and he thought it was really clever, so I did that. But this guy,
Mhm.
Stefan Galfis, he was in the studio with me when I did Peace for that album in Italy, and I was just thinking about it. He was my manager for a brief moment of time, and he's the one that actually produced Peace, but he never really got the proper credit.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it right now. Stephanie, if you're out there, and anybody that knows him, he definitely produced Peace, which was a number one hit in Italy, and it was Stefan. And I really want him to
Oh,
know how much I
wow.
appreciate it. Yes, yes. He didn't get his due. And I just
Yeah.
think, yeah. Did you come
Awesome.
across with that shake? Did you listen
Did I
to Do
what?
Did you listen to Do Fries Go With That Shake? I didn't send it to you. Probably should have.
No, I didn't get that one.
That's one I did with George Clinton, and my
Okay.
ex-husband wrote the music. I did, and I'm bringing it up because, well, uh, something happened to me, and it kind of happened to Jordan Sparks. And who was the girl there? It
Okay.
was somebody where you. I wrote the song. I wrote "Do Fries With That Shake" with George and my ex-husband, and then George took it out to California. I wrote the lyrics. I wrote I did all the backgrounds and everything. He took it to California, and my girlfriend Deborah called me up on the phone and said, "Sheila, George is in the studio right now with Vanessa Williams, and he's telling her to sing this just like you." So she sang, I think, one verse. I did everything else plus write it and everything, and she got
Uh-huh.
signed on the song.
What?
Yeah, and it's weird because when they were going to do an unsung on her, and then when they got to
Uh-huh.
me and this whole
Mhm.
situation, they ended. They just like, mm-mm. But I'm
Oh,
putting it in my book.
wow.
The truth will be revealed. I'm not mad at her.
Yes.
She just played
Yes.
me, but yeah, it's a game. You got to learn how to
Hmm.
play it. That's for sure.
Oh,
Will
yeah,
swallow you up.
absolutely. Okay, so how has your musical journey evolved since your time, coming from the Brides of Funkenstein your to how you've evolved now?
Well, at first, um, I lived here from Detroit. I met a guy named E-Man. I was out and about, and I was very young. He said, "Why don't you come down to the studio?" Didn't know who Bootsy and George Clinton were. I didn't know who they were. And he was like, "Why don't you come down to the studio and check out, George and Bootsy?" I'm like, "Okay, I know who they were." So I go down. I'm in the studio. I meet Lynn Mabry, which is one of the other brides, and she's currently with Sheila E. I I give her my CD. I mean, I give her my cassette or whatever it was back then. And so she's playing it, right? And George happens to walk down the stairs at the time that she's playing it. Now I'm telling you, right place, right time. Like incredible. I look at him, he has all leather on, like from head to toe, and these like 6 inch leather boots. It's 90 degrees outside. So I was like, okay, who is this? I didn't even know who he was. So we come down the stairs and he's like, she says, "George, check this out. Listen, listen." So she plays my songs I happen to have with me. And he said, "Is that you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you have a passport?" I'm like, "No." "Well, you need to get one." "Why?" "You're hired." He hired me right on the spot. Just like boom. I'm telling you. And I was like, whoa. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. But I went and got my passport. And lo and behold, we were going to Europe. I wanted to go to Europe because my ex-boyfriend he'd been going to Europe all the time and I'd never been.
Mhm.
So I wanted to go to Europe. And I went to Europe. And that boyfriend, this is really bizarre. He was so angry with me because I went to Europe and went and did my thing. He said, "If you leave, when you come back, it's going to be over. I'm going to have somebody new because I need my woman here with me," just like that, right? So I
Wow.
went. I did. When I came, I remember seeing him at his dad's restaurant. He used to own a restaurant called Yogi's. At his dad's restaurant, he was at another venue he had, and I knew that was his car. I walked over to the car. He rolled the window down really slow and was like, "Sheila, this is my new girl, Frederica. This is Sheila. Sheila, this is Frederica." And he rolled the window back up. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. And that was the end of that. I'm like, okay. But of course, then he wanted me back, but it was too late. I was like, I was done.
No
But then from
backsies.
there, my musical journey. Then
Mhm.
I did P Funk. Then George had us. Yeah. Then we hired as brides. I was hired as a bridesmaid at first.
Mhm.
And this is interesting. That's why karma is real, Demetria. I want to tell you that
Mhm.
because one of the ladies, I'm not going to say which one, it's two other brides, the first two original ones,
Ah.
told me, uh, we were doing it in store, right? And we were signing our names and everything. I was signing the brides of Frankenstein. She said, "You don't sign the brides of Frankenstein. You're a bridesmaid. How dare you?" Da 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 da. Right? Okay, all right. And then guess what happened? I ended up becoming the lead singer of the Brides of Frankenstein on the next album. And that girl was gone. She was gone. Oh, gone.
Oh,
Left the group.
wow.
Yeah. And it was just like, whoa. I felt so bad when she told me that. Like I felt like a second class citizen. Like it was like, you're not a bride. And then other things that they were doing, like the clothing, it kind of perturbed me because it keeps coming up and it's in my book. How they were like, they got outfits from Larry Legaspi, and we were taken to bakers and learners
Okay.
to the cheapest stores. I mean, really. And I never shopped at those. That's where we got our little outfits from. So that was interesting. Now, where did I go from there? I did George, and then I also sang with Michael Henderson. I did Was Not Was. I've done so much. I had a band called Raw Silk that Sherelle was in. Raw Silk and Preacher's Daughters. When we were kids, we were in those two bands. And I went from George Clinton, then Rick James. Then
You have to tell me about Rick James.
Oh, honey. You know what? Can you guys please give me a moment? Anyway, Rick was, oh my God, he was a consummate rock star. I mean, his house, when we were rehearsing with Val Young, we were rehearsing, and his house, you could get lost. It was amazing. A beautiful home. And that's where we rehearsed. And I did Rick until things happened where I'm just going to be honest, the road manager, Rick, his name is Aaron Dublin. Yes, that's his name. He was sexually harassing me and I wouldn't budge. So he kicked me. Yeah. Yeah, he kicked me. And then I sued Rick's, his insurance company for the tour. Yeah, he kicked me and I had to leave the tour. He kicked me because I would not. It was weird because I had my own room and he was so mad because when we came to Detroit, my boyfriend came and stayed with me in the room. So after that, he was like, you think you're a rock star now, huh? I said, oh, you're gonna have your own room. You're gonna have a room with this other girl you was trying to put in your room. I didn't know her. And I'm like, dude, I don't have to talk to you. I can wait till Rick gets up and I will talk to him. And he said, oh, you think you're a rock star now, huh? And he started calling me names. And I walked away and I did say kiss. I might have said something like kiss something, whatever. And he kicked me like a dog. And it was funny because we went to court. We went to court. I won, but they never touched upon the sexual harassment part. Only the part about him kicking me, which he said he did it a little bit, and that made the judge really angry. So I know that's why I'm like, yeah, this stuff is I can't make this up. I mean, it's all real.
Yeah.
After I did Rick, like I was on Rick, and Rick was like, I was the first Mary Jane girl with Val Young, and Rick was like, okay, you need to join my ship. He said, George's ship is sinking and my boat is sailing. Never forget that analogy. He's like, you need to be with me because I know that. But I tell you one thing, George promised my mother that he would always look out for me and he would treat me right because that's the only way she would let me grow. And he has done that. Even when my mom had brain surgery, that man came here with his wife and sat with my mom for 4 hours on his busy tour. Yes. So George always protected me, but when I was Rick, I didn't have any protection. If you're out on the road as a young girl, you need some type of protection. I'm gonna tell you, don't be out there willy-nilly by yourself. You have to have somebody that it's absolutely necessary from my own experience. So yeah. Then the kick came and then I left and I did something with Public Enemy. I was on their label, Chuck D's label, Spit Digital. And we did a song called Everything that went to like 2 million hits. And then I got signed to Spit Digital. I lived in California for a while. And then oh my God. And then Appreciate, I was still doing Amuka, signed with Peter Rohofer. My friend took he took a track over there. My friend Louis Ballo, God rest his soul, rest in peace, Louis. Louis just recently passed away. He's one of my best friends. He's the one that
Mhm.
took me for Appreciate Me. He took me to the guy to do Appreciate Me because the first time I went, nothing happened, and he was like, "You have to go back." And I was like, "I don't want to go back."
Okay.
Like, you got to
Hmm.
go back. We went back. We came up with Appreciate Me, which is a huge hit even today, to this day.
Hmm.
And Louis and I are working on a song called "Don't Treat Me Like I'm Invisible,"
Hmm.
and we're about to put that out on House of Aviance, which is Kevin Aviance. He was in Beyonce's movie, her
Hmm.
documentary, and he was in her on her album. So I was gonna do the I'm gonna do the I'm gonna do the Don't Treat Me Like I'm Invisible, but Louis, I'm just nervous because he passed away
Hmm.
before we could get the record out.
Oh,
And
wow.
he was separating these dogs, and I kept telling him they weren't even his dogs. And I said,
Hmm.
Louis, that sounds really dangerous because he would do it sometimes when I was on the phone with him. I'm like, I don't know if you should do
Hmm.
that. And the day I had already sent in my signed contract. Louis sends me a message, "Hey, you sent the contract in." I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Okay." That morning or that day or whatever, the label calls me back and says, "I'm sorry, but Louis passed away. He was
Wow.
separating the dog, heart attack."
Oh, my
That's why
goodness. Mm-hmm.
every day, Demetria, we have to embrace every day, live it to the fullest, live every day, have as much fun as possible, as long as possible, because I believe that's why we're really here on earth. And
Right.
we're here to do what we can do to make a difference in the world, to leave our mark.
Absolutely.
I,
Absolutely.
I really, that was devastating that I lost my friend.
Hmm.
Um, so that's the thing. That's the next record that's coming out. I also did a song with Willie Dixon's granddaughter, Tamiko Dixon. It's called Beautiful Life, and we're waiting on that
Okay.
to be completely done. And I'm also going to be doing a song with Paul Hill, who's one of the P Funk All Stars, was on the road with me. He's an
Oh,
incredible singer
wow.
songwriter. We're going to be working together. So I have
Hmm.
a lot of irons in the fire, but I'm really trying to finish my book, which
Yes.
right now, wait a minute, you want to know my journey? My journey. Okay. I'm trying to stay on track. I'm trying to
No,
stay
but
on track.
we'll talk about the book too.
Okay.
We'll talk about the book
Okay.
too.
So right now I'm really just into collaborating and creating amazing music that really can comfort and hold the heart and reach people's souls and make them feel better because it's all about like making a difference, like just feeling good. Why not?
Right.
I mean, life is so unpredictable, especially after the pandemic.
Hmm.
It's like totally unpredictable.
Absolutely.
And I also did some songs with Robert Courtney of Grapefruit Sound Lab, which we had just completed three videos, 3 songs, 3 or 4 songs. Yeah, we just did everything, and the pandemic hit. So we put those things on hold. But we did a song called Freedom, which I want to definitely get to Kamala Harris's campaign. And we did another one called Don't Fall for It. We're talking about don't fall for the okie doke and don't fall for Project 25. I'm just saying. So we're working on getting that to the campaign as well. Um, yeah, I my musical journey has been amazing. I also did a Pokemon song, and everything changes. I did that song, um, which was a great song. I have plaques for the Pokemon song because it did really well,
Oh my goodness.
and that was scary, Demetria, because I had to be in front of a bunch of suits, and they had to decide whether my voice would appeal to the young kids. And it wasn't just me; I was up
Oh.
against a lot of people, and
Hmm.
I wasn't used to auditioning. You know what I mean? Like I auditioned,
Hmm.
but I did it. You have to be humble. You try to remain as
Hmm.
humble as possible. And I got it. So yeah, that
That's
Pokemon thing,
amazing.
that was really
That's
good. That was,
amazing. It
you
sounds
know
like you have
what?
a very extensive journey.
I want to be a Bond girl. I want to sing
Oh,
on
you
one of
do?
the 007s. I want to sing on a 007 song for 007.
Uh-huh.
I can't help it. I'm putting it out there. I don't know who's
Hmm.
involved. I think make it happen, but I'm putting it out in the universe that because I've been told that Sheila, you need to be a Bond girl. You need. So you know what? It's stuck. I want to be a Bond girl. Okay, yeah,
Oh, that would be so cool. I would love to see that happen. I would love to see that.
that would be true. would. And
So
you know what?
before we get into, uh-huh,
No, go ahead, baby.
I was going to say before we get into, because I'm curious to know about your book, but before
Oh,
we get into that, can you take us through your creative process for when you're writing and producing songs?
at one point, George taught me how to write everything down. Here's something clever, just write it down. If you say something clever, write it down. So you have a book with all these
Hmm.
little, little notes in them. And Junie Morrison of the Ohio Players, he actually taught me a couple of other techniques of writing, which I only remember one of them, where well, I don't want to, probably not going to reveal that, but anyway, I lately they've been coming to me like at 3 in the morning when I'm trying to go to sleep. All of a sudden, these songs come. Like one came last
Huh.
night. They just come, and I have to get up. I have to go and write it down. I have to write it down. I'm still writing it down. I write down all the ideas, and then I get the track, and then I listen to the track, and you know, I just play with it. And
Hmm.
whatever feels good, like if, oh, this feels good, I like that. Then I
Hmm.
do it like that. Because Poo Poo Man is somebody that Gene Anderson that worked with George. He just sent me a track,
Hmm.
and I'm working on that one. And I wrote part of it last night when I was up 3 in the morning. But my it's a new process now. The songs and the ideas they're just literally coming to me,
Hmm.
and I just have to hurry up and record them and write it down. So
Yeah.
that's it changed over the year, but I still have my book with all those ideas. And
Uh-huh.
when you look at the book and you look at the music and you go through the ideas and you just go with what feels right.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of my
Okay.
method. Yeah, it's yeah. Because I wrote "Appreciate Me." It was funny. I only had one verse. I was supposed to go back, but I never went back. And that was it. That song blew up with one verse, and that makes it much easier
Hmm.
when you perform it, though. Trust me.
Wow. Okay.
Because Craving had 3 verses. Craving,
Hmm.
when I'm craving, it kicks my butt. I'm not kidding. I'm just craving. I have to use all my breathing techniques and exercises. But yeah, but I love that.
I listened to Craving. I listened to your one of your live performances of Craving. And yeah, I said you have to have some powerful vocals and yeah, like you said about the breathing techniques because yeah, that is not that's one of those pick me up songs. But
Yes.
you were killing it. You were
Oh,
killing it. If that was me, I'd be like, one
hold on.
moment.
So that's what I had to do.
I
You
need a
know what,
breather.
man? I had to get on the elliptical and build up my lungs, and they're just like, I'm. I feel absolutely amazing.
Hmm.
Amazing. I do.
That's
Thank
good.
God.
So I'm going to play a snippet of Craving, but
Okay.
before I do, let's talk about this book. Have you come up with the title yet and
Yes, sort
a
of. Yeah.
plan for launch? Okay.
Yes. Dancing heels across the galaxies on a hero's journey to the mothership.
Okay. That
A
sounds
long one.
funky.
That's a long one. Dancing in heels across the galaxies on a hero's journey to the mothership. And it came to me in pieces, but now it makes sense. At first, it wouldn't make sense, but now it all stemmed from Gregory, my husband. He
Mhm.
was like, he said, when you watch those horror movies, when you watch those movies, and the girl, she's got the heels on and she's running and she falls. That's it.
Yes.
He was like, I'm turning the station. That's it. I'm done. So from that, I came up with Dancing in Heels Across the Galaxy. And then on a hero's journey, because I feel like, okay, I had an inspiration or something come to me and say, hey, we need to acknowledge the heroes in our life and
Mhm.
acknowledge the haters. Like the haters, you pray for them, but the heroes, you let them know that they're heroes in your life because people need to be validated in any way that we can
Mhm.
as human beings validate each other. It's always a healthy situation. So
Mhm.
that's kind of why I was like, I said, on a hero's journey to the mothership. It just kind of made sense. So that's the title right now that I'm working with. I know it's long, but I think because I'm a P Funk All Star, I got the license to
Uh-huh.
do it because George's book was long. Hey man, ain't that
Uh-huh.
funkin' kind of on you? King George's title. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have a long title too. So
It's
yeah.
catchy though. It's very catchy though, and it's
And,
appealing. So it makes me want to know, okay, I want to read this now. I want to know what this is about.
oh, it's definitely a journey. It's a journey.
Hmm.
And I want to include things in there that would I want to share my karmic journey
Hmm.
with people to avoid certain pitfalls. Maybe they don't have to go through this because they see where it may lead. In my book,
Hmm.
I really want to assist people in any way I can to navigate what we call life because it is not
Yeah.
easy and there is no book.
Hmm.
And the only way I can assist is sharing my experiences and how I overcame things or how
Hmm.
maybe it might be a way they could consider, offer a way to do something that maybe they haven't thought of. I just really
Right.
want to help. You know, I come from a long line of humanitarians, the Horns, my maiden
Hmm.
name. There are a lot of ministries and humanitarians. So it's kind of in my blood because Greg is like, why do you always care? Why do you always care what happens to people? Why do you always care about them? Can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it. It's just
So does
me.
your book, so in your book, okay, so you talk about your experience through navigating through the music industry and through other aspects of
Life.
your life. Do you
Yes.
also talk about, in terms of the music industry, do you talk about or do you share with people, um,
Incidences.
because I know that this is a big thing. Colorism is a big, can be a big thing in the entertainment
Oh,
industry, and
you
and
gotta, you know what? You are right. And I have to put that in there. Oh my goodness. You are right about that because in my family, colorism is a big thing. My
mhm.
family, sorry, y'all, I love y'all family. You know what side I'm talking about. Um, they call it whitewashing. You know what I'm
Oh
talking about?
yes, I've heard of that. Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, that's very prevalent on my dad's side. I love y'all though.
Hmm.
Don't get mad, but y'all know it's
Yeah.
true.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's all about the color. You know, my mom told me that my grandmother, I don't know if she had any black in her. My dad is, I know he's Indian, black, and Jewish, but I'm not sure if she was just Jewish and Indian. I'm not sure because
Hmm.
my mom said she said to her, she was holding my brother and she was like, oh my, look at that black woman walking down the street. I can't stand black women. I was like, oh my God. And my mother was like, give me my baby. I mean, that's pretty drastic. And
Yeah.
yeah, color, unfortunately, you know what? That's interesting because Rick James, he used to
Hmm.
wear makeup 3 shades darker because in his mind, it was about
Hmm.
being darker. That light skin wasn't in. At some point, light skin
Yeah.
wasn't cool to be like.
Hmm.
It was better. He called it the Darkness Brothers, Eddie and
Oh.
Charlie. He wanted to be their color. I'm telling you, he wore
Uh-huh.
3 shades. And you know what? He looked better. He looked better with the 3 shades darker makeup.
You
I'm
know,
not
I
joking.
never knew that. So you mean the way we've always seen him, back in
He's
the day, that was the
his
makeup.
shades lighter.
Oh.
It was the first time I saw him, his real color. I was like, oh my.
Uh-huh.
He deliberately changed his color. So
Oh wow.
colorism, that's colorism in reverse, I think. No,
Hmm.
but yeah, he was
Yeah.
like more into the dark thing. And yeah, I think that there are people in my family, I'm not going to say her name, uh, that did really well. And they didn't really want to acknowledge that my daddy was their daddy, but
Hmm.
he, she's the color she is because my daddy was her daddy and
Hmm.
helped her a great deal in the industry.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
not saying, but yeah, I
So
think
do
that
you think that,
unfortunately,
uh-huh.
no, say, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think that it's different, or the in terms of colorism and the interracial prejudices, even among our own, and in addition to the racism you may have had to contend with in the entertainment, especially back then, do you think that it's the expectations or standards are harder on women in the industry compared to the men in the industry?
Oh, definitely.
Hmm.
I was married before, imagine that. And I was married to a couple of white guys. I don't
Hmm.
say that, but my first husband was Jewish. He was Jewish, and
Okay.
uh, well, my second husband, anyway, I remember being, that was some years back, and it was like the black women had a problem. They would be like, well, it's a whole lot of black. I said, well, you're welcome to them right now. I didn't choose him because he was white. I didn't
Yeah.
choose anybody because of the color of their skin. I chose them by the way they
Right.
treated me. It had nothing. My mother never taught me to be a racist. She never taught me.
Hmm.
Now I had some friends that their mom told them, don't bring a white guy home. Don't. My mother never ever taught me racism. So I
Yeah.
didn't know any better. I didn't know, like, oh, you're not supposed to date outside your race. I had no
Hmm.
idea. Plus, I went to Cass
Hmm.
Tech. Cass Tech was a very multiracial, very lots of all different kind of races in there, Cass. And
Hmm.
I actually had a white boyfriend when I went to Cass, and I remember because I stayed in Grosse Pointe on the week through the week because I was in a band called Holden Caulfield, and I remember gas prices were ridiculous. So I stayed with them, and I remember down in Cass, people saw him pick me up, and the girls again, they were like, "Sheila, we heard your boyfriend had blue eyes and blonde hair." It's always people have to say something about what you do with your life, which makes no sense to me because it's none of their business really what you do and how you live. As long as you're not affecting them and hurting them, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But
Right.
people have always had something to say. I'm not trying to be a rebel. I wasn't doing it on purpose. I think it
Hmm.
just kind of wasn't trying to be,
Yeah,
but
you were just being you.
I was being me and the way I was
And
raised.
you were being true to yourself. Yeah,
My family,
absolutely.
the shades vary. On my dad's side, my dad literally passed for white. I mean, they thought he
Hmm.
was white, and that's real. And that's why we traveled all over the world. We traveled by car on the regular highways. Back then they were talking about, oh, you couldn't really travel if you were black because of the problem.
Hmm.
We never, because they thought my dad was white. And
Hmm.
in my family, my father was known as the one, if there was a problem, sent him to the front because he was a white man, and they would deal, and he got them out of trouble all the time. And
Hmm.
that's real. Like, I was even gonna write a book about my dad because of it was wild. He just got away with so much. Like,
Hmm.
they never questioned him. You never, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think that's it was helping though, because he had some little
Yeah.
gangster moves going on.
Do you talk about that in the book?
Yes, I'm gonna talk about Rufus. That was my dad's name,
Okay.
Rufus Horn.
Okay.
He was, my mom's super square, Dorothy. She's like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. She's very, very square, very just, and my dad was like total gangster. I don't even know how they ended
Hmm.
up together, I promise. And then he was like,
Hmm.
oh, buy what you want, look at the prices. My mom's super frugal, but he's like, buy what you want, don't look at the prices. That was my dad. So
Yeah.
I'm like between both of them. Like, I do get in those moments. Well, if I want that, I'm gonna get it. I don't care. If I want it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I can have it. I'm gonna I'm gonna get it. That's it. End of question. That's it. So
Right.
yeah, both mindsets are like battling in my head,
Hmm.
but it's
So
it's good.
how far along are you with the book, and have you set a date for when you would like to be done with the book and ready to
That's what
launch the book?
you're giving me those. That's what I need to do. It was supposed to be by the end of the summer, but
Okay.
I have a writing partner who she's gonna move to Chicago. So I need another writing partner because if you have a partner, then you're more likely to do it and not be out of integrity with them. Like, if you do it for yourself, you can
Hmm.
make excuses like, oh, I'll do it later and not do it. But if
Yeah.
you make an appointment with someone else, you have to show up. So
Hmm.
that's how I got as far as I am, and I'm almost done. I just have to
Okay.
really finish it. It's like, I'm gonna write 2 books because I have so much
Hmm.
more information. I want to finish this one and then start on the next one. But then maybe that
Okay.
one else about colorism. And what other things you think that people might be interested in other than like colorism, um, the beauty, uh,
The beauty standards in the entertainment industry,
yeah,
another thing.
which have drastically changed.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
And,
because
uh-huh.
there's so many beautiful people, all colors, all shapes, sizes. I mean, hello, what's the girl from Detroit? The singer that kind of got in a little trouble. She's the bigger girl. My hand down, shake my leg. Her.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
the one
Forgot
who
her always.
plays the flute,
Yes. Oh my God. I'm
Lizzo.
so
Is it Lizzo?
Lizzo. Yes. Yes. Lizzo. She broke the barrier for real because she's a big
Hmm.
girl and she came out and
Hmm.
made it sexy. You know what I'm saying? Which it should be.
Hmm.
It shouldn't be
Hmm.
about, oh, well, not being a zero is not what it's cracked up to be because I did that when I was in California and it wasn't fun. I'm just gonna say.
Hmm.
You gotta do
Yeah.
feels healthy. I didn't feel healthy at zero. I'm sorry. I was so hungry. I don't even know how I was dating a cheater. So that's how I got so skinny. But um
My goodness.
I, you just have to do what feels right and feels good to you and feels healthy. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't go by what other people say because everybody has a different view of beauty.
Right.
Everybody's view
Right.
of beauty is not the same. Even though they tried to make it the same, but it didn't.
Hmm. Right. Right. I think that we've come a long way, even though we have still have a long way to go. But I
I
think, especially in the entertainment industry, you've come from all these years and decades and more than a century of people showing you what they think the beauty
they feel
standard should be, the
right.
blonde hair, the blue eyes, and nothing else.
And the stick figure.
And
I'm
right, right.
sorry.
And right, the stick figure. And then when, like you said, when you have people like Lizzo showing, okay, I have browner skin, I
I
don't have the
love
blonde
it.
hair, blue eyes, and I
And
am a
she's
heavier set
beautiful.
woman.
And she's
Hmm.
beautiful. And even
Yes,
Megan Thee
she
Stallion.
is.
How beautiful is she?
Hmm.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I mean, I
absolutely.
can go on. Rihanna, Beyonce. I mean, they're beautiful women. You know what I'm saying? They're not
Right,
blonde, right? But they're very beautiful
right,
just as they are. So,
right.
but you know what I did to make sure I just ordered some
Mhm.
blue contacts. So I know people are gonna talk junk and I'm ready for it.
Look, feel like if you look good at them, then flaunt them. They're not paying for them. They're not paying for your new set of eyes.
I I just want to do something different. I used to wear blue. I've worn gray.
Hmm.
I just wanted to do something different. If
Hmm.
they don't work, they said I can send them back and they'll give me all the new colors. So 1-800 contacts. Oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but they're amazing. Okay.
Well, you know what? I do want to play a snippet of your craving
Okay.
video. I think we have that to share, and then I want to get into Bougie Bougie right
Oh,
after.
bougie, bougie.
So we should have the snippet of craving.
Okay. How did you find that? Oh, Rain. Oh,
YouTube.
Can I have a little more music? Just a little bit. This is called Craving. You know when you're craving in the middle of the night. Uh-huh. Take your heart, I'll say. Take it over. Take your heart, I'll say. That's right. Oh, now I can get my door. Go and try it. And I've never been before. God needs the sun. I know love has got to come out to everything. Oh, the ones around me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So take your heart out the shell. Don't keep your love to yourself. So take your heart out the shell. Don't keep your love to yourself.
Now, I definitely could
wow.
not do that. That takes a lot of energy and lungs.
Oh my goodness. That crowd, I remember that. That was like
Uh-huh.
that was a really cool club in Tallahassee. And
Uh-huh.
that was so fun. I remember that night very well. That was a great night. I had so much fun that night. Yes, and the crowd was amazing. And
Yeah.
oh, that song was played on the radio in New York, Z100, KTU. It was big,
Wow.
and we got it
Wow.
on the
Did you?
radio.
Mhm.
I got it. We got it on the radio, which is what freaked all the program directors. I mean, it freaked everybody out that were like the people that work for people that like, I'll get your song on the radio, promoters. They kept trying to ask me how to do it. And I was like, I don't know. I had a relationship kind of with, and my friend Kenyatta, he's an actor now. He does a lot of acting, but he was the secretary up at KTU, and he was one of the most. He was just such a nice, kind human. I love him so much. He was a big part of that happening too. So I would shout out Kenyatta. If you happen to hear this or see this, you're the man in my book, and you're another hero in my life. Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. George Clinton is definitely a hero. Yeah, he is.
So I want to talk about how you reimagined the Ashford and Simpson classic, Bougie, Bougie. I absolutely love that song. And I want to know what drew you to this song, and how did you approach making it or reimagining it?
Well, Brad Henry, DJ Industrial Badger, we did another song called Bop last year that went 5 million streams. It went 5 million streams. Wow. And he came with the idea. He said, Sheila, you got to do this. He brought me the Gladys Knight version. He said, you got to do this song. You got to do it. It's so cool. I'm like, dude, I don't do R&B. What are you talking about? He's like, come on, Sheila, you got to do it. So I think I was doing a show in Columbus. So we went to Columbus, and he said, okay, we're going to the studio. I was still giving him a hard time. He's like, we're going to do this song. And he pretended like he was Gregory. He started talking like my husband. Come on, Sheila, we'll do this. And I thought it was so funny. I said, oh, forget it. Oh, come on, let's do it. So I went in there and I listened to the Gladys Knight version. I never knew Ashford and Simpson did it. I listened to that version, and I went in there, and there's a guy, the studio owner's name was Gino. He was my pip. He was my pips. So he did the pip part. I think that maybe Brad went in later and did some pip parts too, but we did it. And then there was this label Swishcraft that Matt Consola, he owns the label, and he and Brad were talking. They were in communication. So I guess Matt heard the song and he said, oh, let me have this one. So we gave it to Swishcraft, and it is like it blew up. It's on the radio. I don't even know. It's really doing well, and I'm really happy about that. That's really a good feeling.
I like that.
My friend Brad Kilmer created Everything Sheila. It's a Facebook page that merges all of my sounds, all of my songs, everything. He put it together, and he's so amazing because he's going to other sites like disco sites and funk sites, all these other, and he's adding me to their, adding me in. And he is the best. Just organic promotion he's so amazing. And it's so funny how we're very close. He's another Brad. I have 2 Brads. He was my roommate in California with 2 other girls. When I was in California, I never did live by myself. I always had a roommate because I think I was nervous. I don't know. But he was my roommate. He's such a sweetheart. And he went back to Indiana. I came back to Detroit. And we were in communication, but he did something that I got really annoyed with. I wonder if I should say it here. Yes. Michelle Obama, right?
Yes.
Obama's wife. Okay. So, they did that little ugly thing where they had Let Freedom Swing. And they had her.
No, I don't.
Oh, honey.
Oh, no, I don't know about that.
Girl, I read him. I said, Brad. And he was like, oh my God, Sheila, I didn't realize. So we became very, very close after that. He was like, I'm so sorry. So the makeup, because he had done that, and he created Everything Sheila. And I'm like, whoa, that's like amazing. But I love him. I love them both. But Brad Kilmer, he really is going above the call of duty. And he's a singer. He was I was going to produce him. I'm going to produce him. I was going to produce him in California. When I left, and somebody else, got to him, and he kind of got disillusioned. But then when he went to Indiana, I started talking to him. So he's back on track. And we are definitely going to be doing some things together as well. His name is Brad.
Awesome.
He's also called Future Man because he was on a couple of shows. He got a little famous, but then he said that fame, it could sometimes, people can be mean too. Because he was blue. He had a blue beard. He had a blue beard. He was all blue and sparkly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's really, really that's something everybody should be looking out for. Because we're gonna be doing some collaboration together.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. That's good to know. So you have your book in the works, you have all these collaborations, you have these songs that you're writing. I mean, you're just a busy woman. You have a lot. You have a lot on your plate. But you're doing what you love.
Yeah. And I'm happy that, I've been all over the world, and Greg keeps telling me, he's like, baby, your mom allowed you to went prancing all over the world, doing your thing. You lived in Italy, you did this, do that. He said, now, you can come home. He kept telling me to come home to see about my mom, like when I first came back. And we are both taking care of her now. She has dementia, and we're looking after her. And Greg's really, really good at it. And he's a big hero in my life as well. Because there's nobody, my sister is nowhere to be found, but everybody's like, oh, it's always that way. Always one sibling that takes care of the parents and the other ones do nothing. I don't understand that. But that's life.
To me, family is everything. Mm-hmm.
It is everything, man. And you got to that's why you have family, so you can be there for each other.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I got family. Greg's my family. His family's my family. You're my family. Mm-hmm. And and I feel really blessed. And I am focusing on the people that, that love, they're giving me love. The haters, I'll pray for them, but I have no place for them in my life. It's I don't want anything in my life. So, because being an artist and a songwriter, producer, you have to avoid as much negativity as possible. Mm-hmm. You have to try to keep space toxic free so that you can create, because it blocks creativity. That oh yeah, I got to tell you this thing about the guy Gary Ronaldo, who was from Public Enemy. He was the producer. He's my producer. He was telling me this thing about how in California, in New York, they're like you can have things interfere with your energy if things are happening above you that are negative. Like those things can actually interfere with what's going on with you. So your space where you are is very important. Where your space is and what. Like I like that we have our backyard now. I like that we have our house now. We were living in an apartment building with a lot of people with elevators, and it was very busy. It was busy and very different. This is different. This is a lot more peaceful. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So you found your Zen and your feng shui.
Yes. We're still looking for a house. We want a little bigger house. This one is very nice, and it's wonderful. We're here to take care of my mama, and all is well.
Well, that's good. That's good. I did want to ask you, I have one other question about Bougie, but before I get to that question, I did want to ask you, because I know that the entertainment industry can be cutthroat at times. So how did you navigate through that? Because you did mention that you try not to keep toxic people in your space. So how did you navigate, I don't know, or ever having to deal with difficult people, for example, in the industry? Or have you ever had to deal with difficult people?
I have had to deal with some difficult people. One of them was in a band with me. I'm not even going to say her name, but I'm sure you knows what I'm talking about. Her initials are DS. She's very difficult. I mean, she wrote a book, and I know I'm in that book, but I don't know what she said about me. But my friends would say I don't know, but yeah, I've had to deal with difficult people. I pray a lot. I pray. I trust people until they give me a reason not to. Because if you don't trust people, nobody's going to trust you. So I extend trust until that trust is broken. then things have to be reevaluated and boundaries have to come in and all of that. You have to protect your heart. Like Maya Angelou was like, you have to protect that space inside you. And you're allowed to do that to keep that space peaceful inside your soul. You want to keep it away from toxicity and toxic people and toxic situations. You may find yourself there. Okay, like one of the things is if you don't go where trouble is. If you see trouble, go the other way. And you don't even want to go to the third option where you have to actually resort to violence. So the best two things to do, don't go where trouble is. And if you see it, walk the other way. Those are two things. And also, this is something I heard from Joel Osteen. I really like him. Saying, keep your lid down, keep your lid on tight. Like don't flip your lid, don't blow your top, because when you do that, then you allow people, they can cut, if they're frustrating you, then you allow them to put all that garbage into you and steal your joy. You want to protect joy, you just keep your lid on tight. So if you see the lid, my lid percolates. I'm exiting. I'm like, I don't even want to be in this situation right now. And I actually did that with a cousin of mine. I actually was like, okay, I'm not going to, she said, why do you always? And those 3 words, like, oh, this is not going to be cute. So I said, you know what? I'm going to jump off right now and we'll talk later. She actually got upset. I got off the phone to avert an upset, but she got upset because I got off the phone and didn't allow her to basically throw her garbage at me and steal my joy. I didn't know. And people get upset because you don't allow it. Isn't that bizarre? They want.
It is very bizarre.
They really want to do it. It's up to you to prevent them, because it's like a addiction for some people. It's like they have an angry worm and they got to feed that worm. And if you're half of the worm, then they're going to feed on you, and it's up to you to shut that down. So that's how I kind of roll. You got to figure out something. And you know what? It's hard. Like one of my cousins, she decided, we were very, very close now. She's not talking to me. So I'm like, okay, I don't even know why, but I know that in life, people are there for seasons. And if they go and you don't really know why, and I extended olive branches to try to get back whatever, but she doesn't want that. I could never trust that again. I won't trust my heart with that person. I don't know. It's scary when you give someone your heart like that, and then they just. Ghosting is something I really don't like. I don't like ghosting, and unfortunately, I've experienced, and I have no idea what happened. I think they had a TV show one time. I think that show should come back. Where they go in and deal when they try to find out why that person ghosted you.
Yes, I know. I know what you're talking about.
Oh my God! I wish we could come up with another one that's sort of like that, but that's interesting. That was interesting because I would want to know why. I don't even know what I did.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I think people should come clean, like let a person know why, so they don't make that mistake again. It's like you're sharing karmic journey with them, and when you share your karmic journey with people, it gives you good karma. With that, and you get karma by even letting someone get in front of you in line. That gives you, and when you do something for your parents, it's double good karma. I googled it. I googled how do you get good karma, and I learned. I got an AI that question.
You have a what?
I want to AI it. I'm going to ask AI, how does one get good karma? And see what it says. That ought to be interesting.
Right. What's that new one? Oh, Genesis. Can you tell me? I think it's called Genesis.
I don't even know about that.
It's an AI.
It's the new one. Oh, okay. Well, I'm interested in all that because I wonder if AI could write a song. You give it feed it certain things, can it write the whole song for me? I don't know. Be as organic as me doing it. Would be interesting.
Right. It's still different. It's still different. It's nothing like, because I'm a writer. I don't write songs, but I write stories, and it's, even though AI might be able to produce it faster for you, if you guide it properly, there's still nothing like using your own
Yeah.
mind, getting the cogs churning just to put
Yeah.
it out the way you want it. I
So
do
you,
want to ask you, uh-huh.
no, go ahead, babe.
I do want to ask you though about Bougie Bougie. So when you did come around to agree, deciding to do it, um, I noticed that you do have several different
Mixes.
remixes on it. What made you decide to create the several different interpretations of Bougie Bougie?
Well, the owner of Swishcraft, Matt Consola, he remixes, and then he had some other people. He's like over a lot of other DJs. So he got
Okay.
some people in his DJ, you know, his DJs. He got some of them to do the remixes, and then um, DJ Industrial Badger, he did a few remixes as well. But he did the original one we did, and it was pretty interesting because when I lived in Italy, what they
Mhm.
did was they would specify every mix to particular genres that were playing on the radio. So they would design a
Okay.
mix to go on this station, a R&B station, a hip hop station, a
Oh,
jazz
wow.
station. That's what they did. They designed each mix for the particular station that it was
Uh-huh.
geared to be played. And I don't know if
Wow.
they do that here, but I was trying to make that happen because that
Hmm.
really worked. I heard my songs all over
Hmm.
Italy all the time, and it was amazing. And it was smart. They were smart.
Yeah.
And another thing they did was they would be in the back room. The programmer was in the back room, and
Hmm.
he was listening to hits in America and incorporating some of those sounds into the songs that they were creating to make sure that they
Wow.
were. Craving was like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
Craving definitely like that. And
Wow.
there was some, but they're very clever with it because you don't
Hmm.
necessarily know where they got it from, but you just know it sounds familiar.
Right.
Familiar.
Right. Oh, absolutely. So the one in particular, now I have all of the remixes for Bougie Bougie. I love them all because for me it gave off this techno electronic music vibe, and
Yeah.
I grew up in the era of techno. So
Me too.
so
I love
I
it.
loved it, and I think that you have your vocals when you reimagined that track, your vocals against that track reminded me in that case of Black Box and
Oh wow.
Crystal Waters. It reminded me of
Wow.
that. It really did take me back to the techno era, and I said, oh yeah, that I don't think that
Did
will
you say
ever
Crystal?
die.
Did you say Crystal Waters?
Crystal Waters.
That's my friend.
Hmm.
I love her. Oh my
Okay.
God. That's such a compliment. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love her. That's good. That's good. I like
Oh,
that.
yeah, I love that. I found myself dancing to it. We do have a snippet of Bougie Bougie. I think it's the piano techno mix that we have
Oh,
the snippet for. So I do want to play that, and then
okay.
I'll give you a chance to say any closing remarks, and we're going to share your socials in the description.
Okay. I hope my phone, I don't know how much, let's see how much, I mean, uh-oh.
Okay.
Oh, it's good. I'm at 14. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. Oh yeah. How about those roller skates?
Yes.
High heels.
Now, I love that song. That would be a good workout song too. I could
It
definitely
is.
get a workout in while
It
dancing to
is a
that
good. It really
song.
is. It is a good workout.
So
Little.
beautiful.
This is Princess Halo. She's the newest addition to the family, and she's look at her. She wants to
Okay.
get down. She wants to get down with
Oh,
Hannah. She's
she's
new to being on the ground. So she's in a whole
oh,
different world. She runs around the tree 1,000 times. But
oh,
it's
she's
I love animals.
beautiful.
I love
Hmm.
animals. I love them.
So I always wondered how does someone so teeny tiny have such a powerful voice? Did you ever
Yeah.
have vocal training, or you've always sang like that?
Well, I did. I took a vocal coach when I lived in New York. His name was Martin Lawrence. Because at one point I had a rasp. I thought I had nodes, but I didn't. But
Hmm.
he teaches people to sing properly so they don't develop nodes,
Mm.
nodules on your vocal.
Okay.
So that's the only training that I've ever had. I was in a choir when I went to Cass Tech. I was in the Cass choir. So yeah, I just, when I was a little girl, I was playing outside and I was listening to the radio, and this other girl, Lolo Reed, Cindy and Lolo, they would be like, Sheila, do it, sing this. Like they would play the R&B station song. Those are the two German shepherds down there. I don't know why they're so noisy. Um, they were like, sing the song. So I just sang it. I started singing it and they liked it. And I started doing talent shows and winning them. So I'm like, oh,
Oh,
I might
wow.
have, I don't know. And it just kind of developed from there. It just kind of, and my mom always encouraged. She always
Yeah.
encouraged me to search and live my dream, whatever that was. She gave me the
Hmm.
freedom to do that. And that's why I'm gonna take care of her. Because she definitely took care of me and
That's
gave me,
amazing.
yeah,
Hmm.
man, she gave me so much joy. And I never wanted for anything, Demetria, in my life. Never.
Hmm.
I've always had whatever I wanted. I was Miss Black Michigan, I think, was second runner up, but I didn't. I knew I wasn't gonna win. I knew this girl was gonna win because we found out she was gonna win before it was up. We found
Oh,
out it was up.
wow.
It was rigged. We knew it, but I should have been first runner up because. But I said Billie Jean King, and it was a Miss Black Michigan. They asked me something about athletic, and I said a white athlete, and they held it against me.
Oh,
Yes, they
wow.
did.
That's terrible.
Isn't
That's
that crazy?
terrible, though.
It
Hmm.
is. What I didn't have to say somebody black because it's Miss Black Michigan.
Hmm.
Why? So yeah,
Hmm.
that way my mom, I remember she just told me the story about she bought me a dress. She bought me the dress to wear for that pageant. And some guy, she went in the store or something, and some guy, when she came out, the guy said, ma'am, that guy took your dress out the car. So my mother went and found this guy and got that dress back. She just told me this story. I'm like, what? She got it back. But she's always encouraged me to be the best that I can be. And always don't halfway do anything. You do it the best of your ability. Whenever you don't halfway do it. And if you see something that
Hmm.
needs to be done, do it. Don't even ask any questions. Don't say, we want to do this. No, you do it. If you're healthy and you're strong, you take care of it.
Hmm.
My mom taught me a lot. And she also taught me one monkey don't stop, no show. The monkey don't
I
act right.
know.
The show
I've
must go
heard
on.
that saying.
Oh, and the Rick
I've,
James line that nobody really hears. He says,
uh-huh.
you know who I am. I'm Rick James, B.
Yeah.
And he says, and then he says, and I'll have your job. That's Rick. That's the whole
Oh,
line. I know. I think I'm about to lose my battery. Oh my God, where is it? Oh
okay.
dear. I thought it
Well,
was at
well, we are
100.
going to all right, then we are going to wrap it up. That's all the questions I had for you. Amuka Kelly, you've been amazing. And we're going to put your socials in the description box so people can follow you. So can you also share with everyone?
Yeah.
Where can they follow you on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook?
Okay, it's Amuka Kelly, I think on Instagram or Amuka Kelly, everything Sheila, Facebook, and
Mhm.
also it's Sheila Brody Amuka on Facebook. And yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's Amuka Kelly. So it's either
Okay.
Sheila Brody Amuka on Facebook, Amuka Kelly, and Instagram. Let me see. This is so, yeah, this is so bad. I should know all of this. Instagram. Do you think there's a difference? Like, did Facebook, like, it's not like it was, is it? It seems like more people go to Instagram and other platforms than Facebook. Do you get that same impression?
I do. I've been saying that, especially the past few years. I definitely
Yes.
prefer Instagram to Facebook as well.
Oh my gosh. It's like, yeah,
We do have it, the Sheila Brody _ Amuka for
yes.
Instagram.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
right. And we'll definitely be sure to put that in the description box so people can follow you on Instagram. And we do have your
Sheila Brody
Facebook
Amuka.
as well.
All right,
Mhm.
Sheila Brody and everything Sheila. Everything Sheila's probably where you're gonna find. We post a lot of videos. We post a lot of my songs. All of my songs will be, everything will be on Everything Sheila. It's my
Oh,
newest
definitely.
Facebook page. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you, Amuka
Thank
Kelly.
you.
Good luck with your book launch and good luck with all of your collaborations and all of your future projects. This was great. Until next time,
Thank
have
you,
a good night.
Demetria. Thank you, Demetria. I love you, everything. You're amazing, and good luck with your podcast, dear. And I'd love to do it again. And whatever you need me for, I'm there. Okay.
Absolutely. And we will
All right.
do it again.
Okay, sweetheart. God bless.
All right. Take care. God bless.